can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Hello, I'm Ben. We've got Tyler behind the camera today. Matt is with us in spirit, and that makes this Stuff They Don't Want You to Know. This is an exciting episode here on our Digging Deeper series because we're finally able to answer listener mail. For years, Matt and I have wanted to do something better than just write back to you via email or Facebook message, because we really appreciate the time that you all spend checking out this series and our other series. So here we go. I've got a stack of mail. It's our first ever attempt. So Paul writes to us and he says, "Hello, I'd like to submit a few ideas on what me and a bunch of my friends want to hear more about. Some of these ideas are already very popular, some are not. I know you don't have endless amounts of time. I can only wish you'll review even one of these subjects." So he's listed 3. I'm going to just check out a few here. Number 1, Planet X, or Nibiru. This subject is already popular and reviewed by you, so I won't go into it too deeply. The time in which the dwarf planet is said to enter our system is nearing again. There's plenty of research material on the subject. I'd like to hear more of what your view on the matter is. Well, Paul, that's a great question, and thank you for checking out our earlier video on this. I think for now, all I can say is that Matt and I will dig into this and see if maybe we can make a sequel episode for you. Now, your second idea, Paul, was really exciting. Check this out, guys. The Library of Ancient Alexandria. Pretty cool, huh? And Paul says this subject might be very hard to research. If you manage to do it, many will be pleased. Let's hope so, Paul. What I was thinking is that maybe they had a huge collection of research on the capabilities of the human mind or the supernatural. Now, what's really neat here, I'm going to paraphrase Paul a little bit. Paul said that this might be hard to research since most of the documents were burned down when the Library of Alexandria was destroyed. And he says, or were they? Maybe they just moved lots of documents away from Egypt. And Paul goes on to say maybe some of these would be in the Vatican's secret archives. Now, what's really neat about this is a great idea. We haven't done an episode on Alexandria yet. We did cover the Vatican secret archives, and I hope that anybody interested in that will check it out. But the truth about the Vatican secret archives is that if you're the average researcher, it can be quite difficult to find what you want to find. For instance, you can go and ask for a specific book, a specific document, but you can't go in and say, give me everything about China. I mean, first, because there's loads of stuff on China, but secondly, because the way in which the system is arranged means that you have to know exactly what you're asking for. So I don't know, those are pretty good ideas, Paul, and I would like to check those out in the future. Okay, we've got another letter from Wiz. Now, Wiz wrote to us back in November 8th and said, "I'd be interested in finding out more about the real who is behind the denial and cover-up of the UFO phenomenon. Some say it's CIA, some say ONI, but it certainly appears it's United States based. It also seems that the president is only informed to a sliver of information, if any. What say you on this?" Well, Wiz, thanks for asking. And it seems that you, along with a lot of other people, definitely do believe that there is an ongoing cover-up of the UFO phenomenon. What's really interesting about this is that there's a fellow named Lawrence Rockefeller who spent quite a bit of time during the Clinton presidency trying to get more information or disclosure about the UFOs, UFO phenomenon. Now, he contacted various members of the Air Force, various people working for the Clinton administration at the time, all in hopes of securing more disclosure. Now, they have a lot of documentation about stuff that was released under Freedom of the Information Act and such, and it is true that President Clinton at the time made an executive order with the hope of declassifying any unnecessary secret classifications. However, at this point, we haven't had disclosure. Obviously, this would be an entirely different podcast if we did, but we are going to look into that because it always seems like there's a new piece of news regarding this. And just for point of order, some of the Air Force officials contacted by Lawrence Rockefeller did say that they believed declassification might be disappointing to a lot of UFO enthusiasts, because apparently the implication is that some of the stuff that's classified as secret actually has a mundane explanation. But of course, there's no way for the average person to know that unless it is declassified. So thanks for writing in, Wiz. All right, and we've got a technical question here from Kira. Kira said, love the show, glad you guys are choosing to go more in depth with the topics. Thank you. I just watched your newest episode and I wanted to send you an email about something you said. Are you only uploading on YouTube now, or will you still be uploading episodes on your iTunes feed? Or will there be stuff available on YouTube that won't be on iTunes, or am I just getting nervous over nothing? You're just uploading stuff from iTunes onto YouTube. Good questions. Okay, so first, we are updating on YouTube and iTunes. This series, the Digging Deeper thing, is mainly just going to be on YouTube. But both our series are going to be available on YouTube, and you can find our primary series on iTunes. We recently finished up our Edward Bernays series, and we're quite excited to see what people think about that. Ah, yes, here we go. Manuel writes in to ask us, gentlemen, I love that, Manuel, thank you. Could you do a series on alleged doctored moon photos, moon structures, etc.? Also, we never get to hear about the other space programs in foreign countries. It would be interesting to hear about their discoveries, their projects, etc. This is a great question, Manuel, because although we did do one catch-all episode on other lunar conspiracies, one thing that we haven't really talked about is the work that other countries' space programs are doing. I admit, we've been kind of NASA-centric, right? But there is some very exciting activity, especially on the subject of satellite launches in countries across the globe, and we should look into that more. And then, secondly, we should also check out the actions of privatized space exploration companies. We predict those are going to be huge in the near future. So, thank you for writing. Stay tuned. One other one that I really wanted to answer, I thought this was such an interesting question, Matt and I both. Craig wrote in to ask us on October 28th. The subject is 11/11, and Craig says, maybe this could be a topic for an upcoming show. Why do some people always wake up and note the time of 11/11? Now, there's some fascinating stuff in here, Craig, and it was surprising when we checked it out, because it's not just 11/11. Some people say they wake up at 3:37 a.m. every morning. They don't know why, or 3:33 a.m. And there are hundreds of explanations or attempts to explain this. Now, I'm just going to go with one. There's one thing that might be very interesting here. It's called the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. Now, some of you who may have already heard of this are going, yes, of course. But here's the thing about it. It's something that can very easily skew our perception of the world. The Bader, this is from damninteresting.com. I can say damn, right? On the Bader-Meinhof phenomenon, or Bader-Meinhof phenomenon. So this is what happens when you hear an obscure piece of information or a coincidence that you've never heard of before. Like, let's say you hear the word obsequious for the first time, and then a few days later, it seems like you're hearing it all the time, and you think, that's weird. How did that happen? Why is it? It appears to be synchronicity. But part of that is that our brain has a prejudice towards patterns, and sometimes it's easier for our brain to categorize randomized events into a pattern. So it's quite possible, for instance, that someone would be waking up 3 or 4 times a night and then only noticing the time when it was the same, a little bit of a confirmation bias. But to be honest with you, I don't think that could be the entire answer. There's a lot more in this, and I would like to cover some of this in an episode that would dwell on coincidences, or the appearance of coincidences. So that is just a little bit of the mail that we wrote. We didn't want to keep this too long. We do want to thank everybody who sent us an email, everybody who sent us a Facebook message, and we hope that you guys will continue writing to us so that we can answer your questions on the air. We also want to hear from you about this listener mail. What do you think is the status of UFO disclosure? What do you think makes people wake up at the same time every day for months and months? Or what do you think is in the Vatican's secret archives? So find us on Facebook at Conspiracy Stuff. You can drop us a line on Twitter. It's the same address. You can also send us an email directly at conspiracy@discovery.com.